Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Grace Smith podcast. I'm your host, Grace Smith, and I am thrilled that you are here for part 3 of our Better Sleep series. This podcast is all about helping you harness the power of your subconscious mind to live your best life. Today, we'll continue to follow the proven protocols from my best-selling book, Close Your Eyes, Sleep, and focus on visualizing and creating a sleep-friendly bedtime routine. We'll talk about practical, easy-to-implement habits that can accompany the subconscious mental work we've been doing together, so let's dive in. I'm going to begin today's episode by reading from page 155 in Close Your Eyes, Sleep. So far, you've turned off the internal blaring alarms. You've trained your subconscious to understand that sleep keeps you safe, and you've put any nighttime worries or racing thoughts into a box right before bed. The next step to a wonderful night's sleep is to imagine yourself experiencing just that. Most people with insomnia start worrying about not getting a good night's sleep almost as soon as they wake up. They visualize all day, tossing and turning when they go to bed that night. They visualize staring up at the ceiling for hours. They visualize feeling exhausted at work the next day or having bags under their eyes. Even if they don't mean to, this is happening. You get what you think about, so thinking about a lack of sleep gets one. From here on out, we will drench your subconscious with visions of what you do want instead of what you do not want. Visualize a dreamy, restful, deep sleep. You sink into that mattress just the right amount so that you feel held and supported. You wake up the next morning feeling refreshed. Your skin looks amazing, your eyes bright with energy. You say out loud to yourself, wow, I slept so well last night. So what we do in this chapter is we have you actually design your perfect bedroom, your perfect sleepy time bedroom routine. Again, this is primarily in your subconscious mind, visualizing yourself going through your bedtime routine in your subconscious. So if in your conscious waking state, it doesn't perfectly match that, that's okay. But just as we did with putting your worries in a box, as a bonus, anything that you want to do at the conscious level as well is great. It's a bonus. You know, it's very possible that we're quite biased at Grace Hypnotherapy, that we are just seeing all of the people who already tried the blue light blocker glasses and the chamomile tea, and they've done their best to stop scrolling 2 hours before bed. But again, I have found it to be incredibly rare where folks are able to stick with that for the long term. But kudos to everyone who does. People being in a dark room or any of the other hacks, the tips and tricks that are out there. If they worked, we wouldn't still have thousands of people seeking support with getting to bed at night. So that's why I say doing this at the conscious level in your actual bedroom is a bonus, and it can be super fun and it can be helpful. But if just those things worked to the level that a lot of times their marketing leads us to believe they should, then we wouldn't have people coming to us for support. So the subconscious comes first all the time. Now you are going to write out on a piece of paper at the conscious level your dreamy, perfect bedtime routine so that when you're doing self-hypnosis or when you're listening to this week's recording on the app, that you are very clear on what your routine is. So you will just read it over to yourself. So you've got all the specifics, you've got all the details. Then when you close your eyes, it's already there and you don't feel like you have to reimagine it or that it has to change. In fact, the more consistent it can be, little tiny elements can change. Like all of a sudden you might show up in your safe place in your subconscious ready for bed and there's a new cozy blanket. That's fine. That's a fun addition. But it's good for you to just have the place that your brain just gets ready to go to every night and knows when I arrive there and when I start my subconscious sleepy time routine, it is bedtime. So here are some things for you to write down when you are creating your dream place for sleep. And a lot of people think of this as their kind of dream vacation place for sleep, because so often folks get the best night's sleep when they're in some gorgeous or relaxing, safe place where they feel like they're getting away from it all. And they're perfectly safe and relaxed and everything is luxurious and beautiful. So some things to write down. What is your ideal bed? A soft mattress with lots of blankets, or a firmer surface with pillows in all the right places. I don't care what your real mattress is in your bedroom. We're devising the perfect bed for you. So go ahead and think about what that is. And either now or when you've got time later, you're going to write this down because your preferences might be different from your partner's and your partner might win out. So we just got to make sure in the subconscious, at least, the mattress is perfect for you and the bed is perfect for you and the design and the decor is perfect for you. How do you spend your last hour before bed in your perfect dream vacation sleepy bedtime routine? What is your perfect ritual? Does it include self-massage, reading for 15 minutes in bed, lighting some incense, practicing your hypno-affirmations, lighting candles, meditating? In my humble opinion, the more kind of magical you can make it, again, the faster the brain goes, oh, this is a completely different dimension. We are entering into a different portal of existence. This is so different from what I was just doing, chasing my kids and getting their PJs on, or the final email I sent to the team before bed, or cleaning the dishes. This is a totally different universe. And sometimes doing something that feels a little bit magical or a little bit like you just got to the spa can help the brain make that shift more quickly. In your dream vacation perfect bedtime sequence, are there candles, plants, soft music, essential oils, or anything else luxurious, making your space even more dreamy? An easy one to do that's in the conscious that can match the subconscious and take it even deeper are essential oils. And our olfactory senses, our sense of smell, is so tied to emotion that if you can choose a frankincense or a vetiver, something deep and earthy and grounding, like I wouldn't suggest a lemon at bedtime. That's great for the morning. Where again, it's like the minute you breathe in that scent, it's specific to this dreamy vacation place in your subconscious mind. The brain just goes, oh, I know what we're doing. I know where we're going. I'm so happy we're going there. All right, let's talk about just a couple of the key things that if you're not already doing them at the conscious level, they could support you in just getting through sleep at night. And there's some really practical things. Like, for example, folks who drink a ton of water right before bed, and then they're like, I wake up to go to the bathroom multiple times. And then when I wake up, I'm stressed out. It's like, okay, we can do all the hypnosis in the world, but if your bladder is full and needs to be empty, that's a physiological thing that we don't want to override. That would not be good for you physiologically. So let's fix that. Stop drinking huge amounts of water or wine or beer or whatever else right before bed, or tea, and move up the time where you have your last drink to be way earlier. And that is something that if you're having difficult rewriting that habit on your own at the conscious level, you can use hypnotherapy just for that. But that's a first step. I mean, we have had folks come to us throughout the years and say, I feel so relaxed listening to your hypnosis, but I'm still waking up to go to the bathroom. And we're like, well, what are you drinking? And when's your last drink? And they're like, right before bed, I have a massive glass of water. So hypnosis is incredibly powerful, but it's not magic. And your body's got to do what your body's got to do. So either move that up on your own, make that a hard and fast rule, set a timer on your clock where when that bell goes off, you do not consume any more liquids after that point. And if you're still finding changing that pattern challenging, just find yourself really thirsty right before bed, then you can use hypnotherapy to fix that as a first step. There's also a number of sleep supporting foods. And I'm looking at page 48 of Close Your Eyes Sleep. Nutritional research has identified some of the best sleep supporting food as almonds, kiwi, walnuts, white rice, and there are a few others. So if those are compatible with your dietary needs and beliefs and histamine tolerance and all the things, then that could be nice to add some of those into your last meal of the day. We've also put a section in my book about sleep yoga. And my dear friends in town who founded the lovely yoga studio here in Vero Beach, Florida, provided the photographs on how to do the positions correctly. So when you are creating your perfect sleep time routine, if you want to add in some sleepy time yoga, that is here. And we highly recommend giving that a go if it resonates. We've also got a breathing sequence in here on page 64 and 65 that teaches you how to breathe in for 4 slow counts, hold your breath, then exhale for twice as long for 8 counts, and then hold again. Repeat 21 times before beginning the hypnosis recording. This can help quiet your racing heart and mind. Also, a lot of times folks will say, this is all amazing, this is all great, but my partner snores and it's incredibly loud. And not only does it wake me up, I'm very, very resentful about this. It makes me actually angry, and that makes me more awake. And so we've got a whole section here on how to hypnotize away the snoring for the partner who's snoring, if they're open to it. Obviously, hypnosis is not mind control. We can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do. So if they don't want to stop snoring, then you've got to focus on the hypnosis for not minding the sound of their snoring or decreasing the agitation you feel and noticing it less overall. So there are hypno affirmations here for this. If this has been a long problem for a long time, absolutely recommend working with a Grace Method hypnotherapist on this. This is not something that's going to take 25 sessions to override, even if it's been something that's been bothering you for 25 years. It's something that can be overcome with relative ease and relatively quickly. So really, truly, there's no need to suffer for the rest of your life because you love your partner and they happen to snore. So please, you could take a look at that section in the book. So there's other things in this chapter that you can think through, things like putting your phone away earlier, going to bed earlier. But ultimately, at the end of the day, again, if these things were enough, then we wouldn't have people coming to us seeking out subconscious support. So they're just really smart things to look at, test out, build into your habits over time, because they're just going to support the level of sleep you have. But I'm not suggesting that the things we just discussed are going to be enough to override insomnia. All right, very quickly, let's take a look at a couple of studies. In one study, it was found that sleep hygiene training combined with progressive muscle relaxation improves sleep in children with ADHD. ADHD often presents with sleep problems, and poor sleep can in turn negatively affect ADHD symptoms. This 2024 study on sleep interventions performed a randomized clinical trial on 57 children aged 6 to 12 with ADHD. Half of the children received sleep hygiene training, while the other half received sleep hygiene training combined with progressive muscle relaxation exercises. After 8 weeks, both groups had significant positive changes in sleep, ADHD symptoms, functioning, and neurophysiological tests. The group that specifically received progressive muscle relaxation in addition to the sleep hygiene training showed significant improvements in selective attention, peer problems, and anxiety scores compared to the group receiving sleep hygiene training alone. These results show the efficacy of sleep hygiene training in children with ADHD and the additional benefits of combining sleep hygiene with progressive muscle relaxation. And as always, we'll have a link to the study in the show notes. So I find this extremely encouraging, and it really supports what we've talked about in this episode, that there's a lot of things you can do with sleep hygiene, making sure you're not having those big glasses of water before bed, going to bed earlier, eating foods that promote sleep instead of foods that promote awakeness. Lots of things you can do, and they will likely help. But to have the greatest amount of transformation, adding in something like progressive muscle relaxation made a much larger difference. And progressive muscle relaxation is just something that already happens in every single one of our Grace Hypnotherapy app recordings as part of the induction. It's just built in. And then we go much further from there, including visualization and suggestions and all of the rest. So your homework for this week is to create your personalized bedtime routine that resembles your dreamiest sleepy time vacation. You're going to listen to the Visualize Your Perfect Night Sleep recording on the Grace Hypnotherapy app. Again, it's free. All of these recordings that go along with my book are unlocked all of the time. So you'll listen to that every single night this week. And your visualization of this perfect, dreamy bedtime routine will set the foundation for lasting transformation, which I'm so excited to reinforce with you in our final episode next week. Thank you for tuning into part 3. I'm so excited for today's tips to help you begin to visualize your perfect night's sleep so this can become a new normal for you for the rest of your life. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend, family member, or anyone in your life who's working on improving their sleep. And don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review and join us next week for the final episode in this series where we'll talk about sustaining long-term sleep transformation. I'll see you then. Sweet dreams.